I'll never forget when I first heard about it. I'm like, one more time, there's a Vietnamese restaurant inside the VFW. Got it, let's try it out.
Some people, they'll smile and kind of nod their heads or something, like it seems a little strange, but it's just because they wouldn't think a thing about it if it was a Japanese restaurant or a German restaurant because of the name, the Vietnamese conflict, and not World War II.
When you think about, this post in general, imagine all the tragedies that all of the members here have seen and gone through. Imagine all the tragedies and traumas that my family, my parents, my siblings might be too young to have known, but my extended family and the heartaches, If there's one place that can just bring everyone together, it's around a dinner table.
It's been nearly 2 years since the V Cafe opened in VFW Post 10,056. As profits dwindled, the Post, which has always been open to the public, needed a new way to generate revenue. That's when KimChi and Elvis stepped in. You can find them cooking up authentic Vietnamese food on the main street running through Dubois, a small Wyoming town about an hour outside of Yellowstone. Elvis and KimChi's parents fled Vietnam. A majority of the Post's veterans fought there. Now they forge bonds through food.
Vietnam, we weren't attacked. We felt it was just a political war. But we were told we were just trying to stop communist aggression. And we didn't. A lot of people died and we didn't really accomplish much there. I got my draft notice and I didn't open it and went down and joined the Navy. I mean, you had to go. I wouldn't have gone had I not got drafted, I'll put it that way.
John was in the Navy from 1968 to 1972. About a decade after returning home, he joined the Dubois VFW, then as the commander, now as the senior vice commander. He estimates as many as 90% of the Post comrades are Vietnam veterans. He's been a key supporter of the V Cafe.
When I first got out, I wasn't proud about anything, but I am now. And pride in my son's service, and my daughter was in the Navy. My son-in-law's in the Army, so these are people and kids from here that have served in the military. I think Chance is the only one that's ever been killed in action. But
just across the hallway from the bar is a room dedicated to John's son, Chance. This is where the V Cafe operates.
It's called the Chance Phelps Room. My son, Chance, was killed in action in Iraq on April 9th, 2004. HBO made a movie called Taking Chance. It was about them bringing back my son's remains to Dubois in the funeral. We were in here the last night before the last time I saw him, and when he was getting ready to deploy. It's a hard thing. You see a lot of times when people want closure, there is no closure. Time will help heal the wound, but it won't completely heal it. I'm sure that the V Cafe has a lot to do with a lot more people, especially tourists and people from out of town, know Chance's story from coming in this room and looking at things.
These are the moments that you really look forward to, because outside of the prepping hours before we open, it's just complete madness. We're just 1 hour in, guys. We got 3 more to go. And you're dealing with people minute after minute, hour after hour. Your mind is traveling at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So while I'm doing this, I'm already thinking ahead, like after this, I need to do this, 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 and that. The thing that I'm constantly in reminder of is that operating a Vietnamese restaurant, let alone inside a VFW post, is the last thing I would have ever imagined my path would have been in my life. But you kind of learn to embrace it and accept that there's a reason why you're doing what you're doing right now. And I firmly believe that a lot of it has to do with me wanting to share my culture and my roots. And my desire is even stronger now being in this post for war veterans, especially those that served in the country that my parents escaped for a better future. I'm probably not cutting all fancy like other chefs, right? And that's the thing people ask me all the time. They're like, did you go to culinary school? Are you a trained chef? Not at all. It's just, we call it the Vietnamese way, is you cook with your heart, right? You measure with your heart.
As a Republic of Vietnam veteran, KimChi's father fought against communism, but her family wasn't able to leave the country until 4 years after the Vietnam War ended.
So Elvis's family is also Vietnamese, and his parents, along with my parents and their families, were all considered boat people, meaning that at the end of the Vietnam War, they took the sacrifices to escape the country, and by boat they escaped late in the night and they found their ways towards America. Not too long into their journey, my parents, along with many other boats, encountered Thai pirates. They didn't get robbed of their goods, like money or jewelry, or, women weren't raped, or people weren't shot or stabbed or killed, but they were all blindfolded and then pulled for hours through the ocean. At the very end, they didn't take any of that, but the one thing they took were the compasses from everyone. And then that's when, guns drawn, they said, now scatter around, leave, but don't come to our country. My dad, being very smart, knew that he could use the sun and the moon to guide them. And eventually, I believe it was 4 days, they found their way to Malaysia, where they were able to begin the process of getting paperwork to head to America. You can't help but get emotional because it's not just for them. Here my parents had my sister and my brother with the hopes of coming to this new country and to expand our family. And you wonder, what sacrifices have they made just to do that, to give us this better chance at life?
Elvis and KimChi's families lived across the street from each other in Orange County, California. They've been married for 20 years and now own and operate the V Cafe and another Dubois restaurant, Tacos Esteban.
It was actually because of Gretchen Mack that the V Cafe came to fruition here at the VFW. At that point, I believe the VFW was only open once a week. And she knew of mine and Elvis's desire to open up a Vietnamese restaurant in town. But our hurdle was that we weren't able to find a space with restaurant equipment or kitchen equipment.
Gretchen is also Chance's mother. Like John, she and her husband feel the V Cafe gives people a way to connect with Chance's memory.
I think it just kind of keeps it going on in perpetuity.
Almost like keeps him alive.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, you think about all that you've lost, but then all these other people came into our life. It's like throwing a stone in a pond and the ripples just keep going and you don't know when the ripples are going to stop. Hopefully that'll be the same with the V Cafe and the VFW.
Yep.
Pork egg rolls?
Yeah.
Coming up. Are you guys dining in or takeout?
Here. Yeah.
We'll have it right up. So we do have a Purple Heart veteran here in Dubois who served in the Vietnam War. When we first opened the cafe, he came, but he was very blunt. He said to us, KimChi, Elvis, I like you both very much as individuals, but the horrors of the war and having lost so many comrades still triggers me till this day. I am very sorry, but I will not be able to bring myself to come and support your Vietnamese restaurant. I don't take offense to that. I will not force you to come eat at my place. All I can hope is that with time, it will allow you, to hopefully change your heart and your mind. Last spring, he came through and he ordered chicken fried rice from us. And it was a beautiful thing. I think I shedded a tear or two that day because it's a testament to the hope that with time, you can, with your kindness, do something to hopefully, show that you can, in some ways, reconcile with your past to find a way, to find a path to move forward. Our goal is to bring great food, and by doing so, it brings people together. And that's when there's a lot of laughter and a lot of stories. And what do laughter and stories bring? It bonds people. And bonding does not mean you have to be a particular race, a particular background, a particular gender. It has no bias at all. All it knows is it's great food and good times.
The smell and the aroma when you walk in when they're cooking is fabulous, and the food is phenomenal. If the food wasn't good, the story wouldn't work. The food is fabulous. And I'll have a Crown Royal and water, please, on the rocks. There is no way you could have gone into this building before the V Kitchen came in, and there would not be 3 or 4 people in the building, total. The VFW I don't think was going to be able to survive. I think the story here is just a great American story, a full circle of descendants of Vietnamese immigrants who come here and bring this VFW back to life. I enlisted on my 17th birthday. The Vietnam War was going at that time. I started in '66 and was discharged in '69. And I had always wanted to be in the Air Navy division. In my era, everyone was going to go. So it was a choice for me. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Oh, really?
Really,
Thank
it is.
you, Sodi.
No, it's the best. Elvis, thanks, man. Thank you.
Kimchi and Elvis moved to Wyoming from California, looking for a quieter life. After Kimchi was diagnosed with thyroid cancer twice, they wanted to reevaluate. Now this VFW post feels like home. They've updated the overall atmosphere of the cafe and plan to keep investing in the space.
As you can see from tonight, it was a very busy night at the V Cafe. You got to see a glimpse of a mixture of local residents and a lot of tourists come through our restaurant. You can't help at the end of the night feeling so great and feeling so overwhelmed by all the love and support that was given to us. Restaurant life is by no means easy. You really have to love what you do in order to enjoy it. 16 to 18-hour days are the norm for us, and at the end of every night, we are extremely exhausted, but it's a major sense of fulfillment for us. And we go home virtually every night smiling, knowing that the next morning we're going to wake up very inspired to do it all over again. The idea of a Vietnamese restaurant being in a VFW post is all kinds of irony. But I think the most important thing is to look beyond that irony. It's almost a balance, right, between the past and the future, kind of healing old wounds and embracing new beginnings. And that's the way I choose to view it. You can choose to continue to say, this is so weird, this is ironic. But by doing so, you kind of take away from the beauty and the poetry in the idea of what Elvis and I are doing with the V Cafe here inside the VFW post.
So we're from Austin. We just came here because we were going into Dubois through Wyoming, from Grand Teton National Park, and this is the best Vietnamese food I've ever had.
It's really, really good.
You know, Kimchi is very bubbly and happy and likes to talk to everybody. That's why, you know, my officers brought her flowers and everything else, is because, you know, they just want to show her that we appreciate what she's doing and to keep it up.
I wouldn't want to work for anybody else in this town. These two are amazing, and what they bring to the community is a whole new kind of special. We're very blessed to have them here. And me being kind of a new person as well, like, it makes it even more special.